Hello, lovely listeners, and welcome to a wonderful, I'm a little biased here, but I do think it's a wonderful addition to our podcast episodes, and that's today's topic, which is all about productivity hacks for busy career women. So the reason I personally think this is a wonderful topic is not only do women out there I know firsthand need help with doing perhaps a little bit more, but with less stress and maybe time-saving ways to do things as well. Because if we actually can get together and talk about ways to be productive without driving ourselves crazy, well, that's a pretty important topic. So I am thrilled to bring this topic to our podcast listeners today with episode 29. Now, in this intro, I also want to tell you a little bit about some audio issues I realized we did have with some previous episodes. It's not you, it's me, okay? Listening to the rest of the podcast episodes, I think we're in good shape. So I'm going to apologize and just let you know, I hate that the audio quality was not awesome, but here's the irony. The first time that we had problems with the audio was during our perfectionism episode. So I want to say that so that you can give me a mental or virtual pat on the back because you guys, I took my own advice. Instead of re-recording all those episodes, what do I always preach? And especially on episode 25 and 26, I was talking about progress, not perfection. So the episode was great and sounded really okay. It wasn't the quality that I normally have. So I took my own advice, ladies, and I said, nope. Dr. Dawn, you're not re-recording 3 episodes. So just bear with me, and I think we've got that all worked out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'm excited to bring that to our audience today. So you'll have to comment and let me know what productivity hacks do you have that you might be able to share? And then also let us know if you implement any of these strategies today. Let us know how it goes. I absolutely love hearing from our audience. It just makes us better. So be sure to do that. We absolutely love hearing from you. And don't forget, you can reach out to us anytime on social media at Dr. Dawn's ShopTalk. So thank you so much for all your support. Enjoy today's episode all about productivity hacks.
Are you a strong, independent woman who's passionate about her career? Then this podcast is perfect for you. Based on her book, The Career Woman's Secret Playbook, career coach Dr. Dawn Hamby shares the kind of insider secrets you can only know if you've hired, fired, and promoted employees over the past 30 years.
Ladies, I'm on a mission to help busy women just like you create a career and life you love without sacrificing your work-life balance to get it. Come join me as we inspire and motivate each other only as women can and have lots of fun along the way.
With Dr. Dawn's tools, strategies, and action steps, you can unleash your personal and professional power in a whole new way. Here's today's episode.
Welcome back to another terrific episode of the Career Woman's Secret Playbook podcast. Now, notice I'm giving us compliments right out of the gate because I do believe this is not only a terrific podcast, but I believe that you're going to get such value in tips like these and much, much more that we're going to cover in this podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Dawn, and today we're taking a deep dive into the world of productivity. That's right, ladies. We all know how demanding our career journey can be, especially for those of us that really want to upskill, whether it's in our professional lives or in our personal ones. So grab your favorite cup of motivation and get ready to unlock 5 game-changing productivity hacks that will supercharge your efficiency and help you conquer your goals. Now, before I take that deeper deeper dive. If you've been listening for a while, then you know the drill. I want to welcome you to the Career Woman's Secret Playbook podcast. If topics like these really motivate you, then you are in the right place. We would absolutely love it if you would rate and subscribe, and of course, review our podcast. It really does help us get this message out to more career women just like you. Now, we have more and more men listening out there, so thank you so much for your support. Our topics really are universal. It's just, as you know, if you have been listening for a little bit, I do have a special place in my heart for career women. I feel that we are not as good as our male counterparts out there at creating work-life balance. I admire men who work hard at the office, but then have no guilt when it comes to that work-life balance, right? If they want to play a game of golf or go hang out with the guys, I find in general, just speaking in generalities here, that the men are a little better than we career gals at establishing those healthy boundaries because they know they need that balance in order to be a better employee, a better husband, a better father, brother, you name it. They're going to strike that balance, I believe, a little bit more easily. In fact, that's why when my book came out that has the same name as our podcast, my male employees did give me a hard time. Yes, they did. About the fact that my first book was written for the career women out there. But like I always say, you've heard me say this before, if Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Now, of course, I didn't come up with that saying, but man, is it true, right? So I think if we can help the career women out there, let me rephrase that. So I think if we can help the career women out there, especially if they're busy moms, we're helping society, okay? And helping those exhausted, busy career women with productivity hacks, like what we're going to talk about today, is a way to definitely do that. Because if we as women can help each other figure out ways to get more done in less time, you know what that's going to equal? It's going to equal less stress and more joy for our work. And then that definitely spills over into our personal lives. So again, if you are listening to this podcast and you're like, you know what? I love this. I love topics like this. I'm going to rate, review, and subscribe. Again, we would appreciate that. And if you're watching us on YouTube, then yes, definitely do the same and give us a thumbs up if you're watching us on YouTube. We absolutely love that as well. All right, you guys, let's get back to the episode and let's start with our very first productivity hack. And it's something you've heard me talk about before, and it really applies right here and right now. And that's the power of prioritization. Okay, so we're kicking things off with a true game changer. And let's talk about why prioritizing your goals would be that. Okay, ladies, let's face it. As we talked about in last week's episode about our to-do list, we know that our to-do list can be overwhelming unless you listened to last week's episode. Shameless plug here. And if you did, you know, we came up with some strategies to help you with that, so it's not so overwhelming. Now, something we didn't get to talk about in last week's episode was actually categorizing your tasks into different areas. There's something called the Eisenhower Matrix that can really come to the rescue here. And what it does is it divides your tasks into 4 quadrants. What we would call urgent and important, that's the first one. Important but not urgent, that's the second quadrant. The third is urgent but not important. And the fourth is neither urgent nor important. Okay, let me recap that. Number 1, urgent and important. Number 2, important but not urgent. Number 3, urgent but not important, and number 4, neither urgent nor important. I wanted to recap that because if you really focus on dividing up your tasks in this way, much less the tips we talked about last week, it's going to really help you focus on the tasks that truly matter, and it's going to help you avoid wasting time on distractions. You know, if you've been listening for a while, that I absolutely love hearing from you. That's part of why I'm so passionate about the podcast. I want to create a dialogue of a wonderful community of amazing career women just like you and our career men out there. But I want us to have a dialogue about what's working and what's not working. So go ahead and comment, especially if you're watching us on YouTube, but you can comment on the podcast platform wherever you listen to your podcast as well. Because if you do that, then I'm going to find out a little bit more about what's working for you or other ideas for our podcast. So I definitely want to hear how things are going, and we can definitely give each other that support that we all need in order to do well with our productivity, again, both in our professional life and in our personal one. Okay, let's move on to hack number 2. Here's another strategy that really works. In fact, I advise my clients to use this one. It's called those SMART goals, right? SMART. We'll go over again what that means. But SMART goals for smarter success is what I'm calling this second hack. It's really, really true. If you utilize strategies like this one, you're going to set up your goals in a way that actually moves you forward. So let's talk about that. When you establish a SMART goal, you're writing out your goals in 5 easy ways that actually make the goal itself easier to achieve, because you're basically setting yourself up for success, and in other words, a smart way to do that. So you're working smarter, not harder, as they say. Okay, so let's go over again. You probably have heard this before, but let's go over again for those of you that have not, what those letters stand for. So SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So if you craft your goals following this formula, you're going to watch your productivity soar as you work with purpose and passion towards your aspirations. Okay? So let me recap that and explain it just a little bit more. Specific goals work because if you talk too much in generalities, it's just not going to fuel your passion, okay? So be as specific as you can. Measurable also works because if you don't really explain to yourself, much less perhaps to a boss who's wanting you to set these goals, how it's going to be measured, in other words, how your success will be measured, it's just not going to be very effective. The third letter in SMART is achievable, right? In other words, you got to be realistic in terms of what you can achieve. All right, the fourth letter, relevant, means that your goal really has to be relevant to what you're trying to achieve overall, or else it's just not going to find its way into this formula because it's just not going to help you. If you're setting a goal and the action step that you're using to achieve the goal is not relevant, well, it's just not going to be a very effective way to use your time. And speaking of time, that's the last letter in SMART. The T stands for time bound. So in other words, you want to make sure that you're specifying how long you believe the tasks will take. Give yourself a deadline. And if you do that, you're going to be working with that purpose we talked about and also with that intention. And that truly can make you more passionate about achieving your goals, which is definitely going to motivate you to actually get them done. Let's move on to productivity hack number 3. This one I'm calling mastering the Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique is not something you may have heard of before. I'm going to talk about it right here and right now. So let's start with this. Who said work had to be a never-ending marathon? Enter the Pomodoro technique. In other words, this technique asks you to break your work into 25-minute focused intervals, followed by a 5-minute breather. So you're working in 30-minute increments, but 5 minutes of that is going to be these kind of small breaks that you're building into your schedule. Now, here's the next step in this technique. After 4 cycles, reward yourself with a longer break. This method can definitely keep you energized, focused, and primed for peak performance. It really does work. Now, I recommend my clients use techniques like this, but also if you need longer stretches of concentrated time, then go back to last week's episode where I talk about really thinking about your energy cycles. So in other words, if you're someone who is more of a morning person and you know you do your best work in the morning, then it's okay to have longer stretches of work time without a breather. Just really gauge this for yourself and then use the Pomodoro technique when you need shorter bursts of energy to get the work done because, maybe you're getting a little bit more tired and you need to break up the day. So really gauge it based on your own energy cycles and what works for you. All right, folks, let's move on to productivity hack number 4. And it's what I'm calling the art of delegation and outsourcing. Okay, folks, listen to this. You know that as women, we definitely put certain, I would say, additional pressure on ourselves. We do tend to struggle. There's brain research behind this. I actually have talked about this in other episodes, so I'll be sure to include that in the show notes. But we struggle with perfection in greater numbers. And again, there's that brain research to support why, as a gender, we do that. So because we tend to do that, we hold ourselves many times, not all the time, but many times, to a very high standard. So ladies, let's face it, we're not superheroes. Well, not all the time. Other times we definitely are. But because in general we're not superheroes with superhero power, it's kind of time to delegate and outsource those tasks, isn't it? Think about this. If you do that, you can stay within your own zone of genius. In other words, the things that only you can really do well. So you talk about kind of creating extra time for yourself. This is the way to do that. If you can delegate and outsource tasks that others can handle for you, whether it's at work or at home, this one hack alone frees up your time for those tasks again that you do very, very well, and maybe also tasks that you love to do. But if it's a task you do very well that really can't be handled by others because of your expertise and, your special skill set, then it really is the smartest way to work and the smartest way to use your time. You want to make sure you're keeping your energy at an all-time high so that you not only enjoy your work, but that you enjoy the way that you're spending your time. We have something like 87,000 seconds in a day. And once it's spent, it's gone, right? All you have to do if you're a mom is you can look at your children and time flies by. It really does. So really think about this and realize that an investment in outsourcing many times is an investment in yourself. All right, let's move on to productivity hack number 5. It's what I'm calling rise and shine with a morning routine. Now, I'll definitely put links to other episodes about establishing an awesome morning routine. I personally have said this before on the podcast and on the YouTube channel as well. I believe in a bookend approach, morning and evening, because I find that many times, especially when I work with groups and individual clients, they might have an awesome bedtime routine, but maybe not an awesome morning routine or vice versa. It's really rare to find someone who has both. But if you had to pick one, the morning routine is many times even a little bit more important because it really sets the tone for the entire day. And if you actually have an awesome routine for a Monday morning, man, that's really special. In fact, it's one of the reasons why I make sure that our episodes drop on Mondays, because I want you to have a wonderful start to the work week. So, as you see behind me, if you're watching us on YouTube, I've got some inspiring messages about Monday mornings and about working for it, not just wishing for it, things like that. Or, hello day, let's start this, let's do this, those kinds of things. And that's because the tone for your day really can be affected by that morning routine. So start the day off right. Craft a morning routine that not only sets that tone that we're talking about, but make sure that it incorporates activities that you absolutely love. Now, maybe you don't like exercising in the morning, but do you know that more millionaires and billionaires actually work out in the morning? They know the benefits of what exercise can do to their productivity. Now, I hate to tell you that, because if you like to sleep in, maybe that's not what you want to hear, but you could do other things. It could be a morning meditation. It could be journaling. It could be watching your favorite show or reading your favorite book. It could kickstart your energy and set a positive mindset. And that's so important. Now, because of technology, we know we have ways that we can do some of that we couldn't do even just a couple years before. So because of DVRs and things like that, where you can stream your favorite shows, maybe you absolutely love a new show, but you don't have time to watch it live. Well, that's something that you can record or stream, and you can access that when it fits with your schedule. Like personally, I love the PBS NewsHour, and because of the fact that one of my favorite commentators comes on Friday nights, I have to wait till Saturday morning to watch that. Well, that's fine. I'm just going to make sure I make the time to do that because it's a show I personally enjoy and it's part of my morning routine. So things like that can really be a secret weapon for productivity. All right, you guys, there you have it. 5 productivity hacks that every busy career woman should have in her playbook. Remember, productivity is not about doing more. It's about doing what truly matters and doing it with efficiency. Implement these hacks today and watch your career and personal life flourish like never before. All right, folks, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Career Woman's Secret Playbook podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with your fellow career-driven comrades. We would love that. And don't forget, you really do have the power to shape your success. Until next time, I want you to stay unstoppable, and don't forget the motto we have right here at ShopTalk, and it's this: if you're not having a fantastic day, you have the power to make it one.
I know our episode is over, but this is just the beginning. If you're ready to take action but don't know where to start, just head over to drdonshoptalk.com for lots of free resources, ways to work together, and for even more. Subscribe to the Dr. Dawn Shop Talk YouTube channel. Remember, ladies, you don't have to take this journey alone. I've got you covered. Till next time.